Hello and welcome to this lecture. Today we are going to discuss typhoid fever. So the case start with the 7 people without travel history to an endemic region were diagnosed with typhoid fever between September and October 2014. Each patient diagnosed with typhoid or paratyphoid fever was to be reported to the local health center for government surveillance, where each patient was interviewed for history of travel and meal. All 7 patients had consumed food in an Indian buffet, including curry with rice, tandoori chicken, and fresh vegetables at restaurant in the center of Tokyo. Patient 1 to 3 sat together and ate the delivered meal of the same menu separately, served on plastic plates using separate spoon and fork on the same day. Patient 4 to 7 were exposed at the restaurant but on different dates as follows. Patient 6 and 7 on August 2014, patient 4 on August 22, 2014, patient 5 on August 14, 2014. All the 7 employees, 4 chefs and 3 waiters of the Indian buffet were asymptomatic. The urine and stool samples from the 7 employees were tested for chronic carriage. One employee, a Nepali chief in the restaurant, was the only carrier and implicated source of this outbreak. So, what is typhoid fever? It is the enteric fever that affecting 30 million population, caused because of the Salmonella enterica and its two subtypes like typhi and paratyphi. And usually it occurs in children and adolescents in the endemic areas, but there is no age preference in developed countries. So it is more in developing countries, especially among children and adolescents, but in developed countries, no age preferences. And what they are doing that these Salmonella typhi, they travel and they are responsible for actually inflammation of the gallbladder and epithelium as well, and as a result they can make the gallstone, and that gallstone accumulate inside the gallbladder. So the pathogenesis is very simple. S. typhi is able to survive in the gastric medium, acidic medium. That is why it stay here. Once in the small intestine, it taken up by the M cells, and then bacteria that engulfed by the mononuclear cells in the underlying lymphoid tissues, and they can disseminate very fast through lymphatic and blood vessels, and they are responsible for the reactive hyperplasia of phagocytes and lymphoid tissues throughout the body because it spread through lymphoid tissues. So this is a cycle how it spread, and the main thing I already discussed that they are responsible for making the gallstone in the gallbladder. So you can see that if you see that this is the liver section. So through gallbladder, it actually spread with the help of the liver that through portal vein, and then it can reach to the gallbladder. Then these go through gallbladder, it can reach to the GIT tract, and then it can affect the GIT tract as a whole. Formation of the pear patch ulcer as well. And if you see the look at the first infection, like initially Salmonella typhi, and they form with the M cells, formation of the macrophages, and first exposure of pear patches to Salmonella typhi. Then through mesenteric lymph nodes, it travel to spleen and to liver through the blood, and then through blood it reaches to the gallbladder, and then gallbladder to GIT tract. So that's cycle that is going on in this disease. So the infection causes pear patch in the terminal ileum to enlarge into sharply delineated plateau-like elevation around 8 centimeter in diameter. Draining mesenteric lymph node are also enlarged, as I already discussed that it spread through mesenteric lymph nodes, Through mesenteric lymph node, with the help of blood, it travel to liver, and then it reaches to the gallbladder, and from gallbladder it reaches to the GIT tract. So what happened with doing it? They are causing mucosal damage and create the oval ulcers along the axis of the ileum, and it can be perforate. Spleen will be enlarged, and then we will be present of phagocyte hyperplasia. And how to diagnose the patient? The diagnostic is with this Vidal test has been done. The clinical features consist of anorexia, mean patient is not feeling hunger, abdominal pain, bloating, nausea, vomiting, and bloody diarrhea. So it could be followed with the asymptomatic phase that give bacteremia and fever, which is a flu-like characteristics. How can we treat them? We treat them with the help of antibiotic treatment for preventing the further progression of the disease. High fever will be treated with the paracetamol, not with antibiotics. Then the formation of the rose spot and erythematous maculopapular lesions can be seen on the chest and abdomen. The relapse could be occur again if not treated properly. Systemic dissemination occurs through mesenteric plexus that can lead to encephalopathy, meningitis, seizures, or endocarditis in the heart and or in the myocarditis, and pneumonia and cholecystitis, as they can be make the formation of the gallstones. So the typhoid rash look like the rose red spots in 10 to 15% of the patient. Usually appear in the second week of the disease, having you can see the erythematous papular, and you can see these red spots, 2 to 3 millimeter in diameter, that can be found. So thank you so much for today's lecture. Hope to see you again.